Shout out to TLP Sports Club, baby. Shout out BWB. BWB. Bandwagon Buffs. BWB, baby. Shout out to Bandwagon Buffs. Shout out to TLP Sports, man. Let's go.
TLP Sports, man.
Buff Nation, what up? BWB, my bandwagon buffs. What it is, what it does, and what it's gonna be. It's your man's Harry Billion. Welcome to the Liberian Perspective. Please do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Make sure to give me the thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can get the videos as soon as I upload it to YouTube. Look at the bottom of your screen. Cop your BWB merch so that you can rep the most educated, the well-informed, and least delusional fan base there is in all, and I mean all, of college football. Don't buy the hype. Buy BWB. Bandwagon Buffs. All right, family, I gotta go ahead and get into this video real quick, so that's all the business I got. You know what time it is. Let's work. Let's work. That is right. We have a little bit of work for you today. I believe by now a lot of you have either heard or some haven't heard that Lemonious Craig is adjusting at Arizona. For a lot of you guys who are Buff Nation fans, who are BWB fans, you guys already know that Lemonious Craig is a friend of Shador's. He does have a nickname for Buff Nation, as Shador and everybody kind of heard on the live that he did is MLC. He did do an interview. Somebody did bring it up in one of the comments. They said he was throwing some shade. Was he really throwing shade? I don't know. If he was throwing shade, we are about to find out. We're not wasting no time. Let's go ahead and jump straight to 247sports.com so that we can get this story about Lemonious Craig adjusting quickly at Arizona. Let's go. And this article was written by Jason Shear. Lemonious Craig adjusting quickly to Arizona. Arizona wide receiver Montana Lemonious Craig discusses his transition to the Wildcats and more. Former Colorado wide receiver Montana Lemonious Craig entered the transfer portal one day after catching 6 passes for 169 yards and 2 touchdowns in Colorado's spring game, but did not intend to use it as a springboard to leave. It was just going out there and doing my job, Lemonious Craig said. That's supposed to be routine for a guy that knows he can do that. I went out there and I did my job, and it just so happened that hitting the portal afterwards was a big deal. It did boost it, but my intention was to go in, do my role, and help my team in the spring game. I decided to enter the portal on my own. I felt like it was what was best for me and my future. Me and Coach Prime hit it off on a great foot, and I just felt like it was time for me to move on and experience something new somewhere else. The performance certainly caught the eye of the Arizona coaching staff, which moved quickly to try to secure a commitment. When I jumped in the portal, it was where the best fit for me was, and I wanted to go where I was able to fit in the offense and have a role, Lemonious Craig said. I would say Arizona is a beautiful place, and there are amazing people here. The program is on a consistent rise and elevating in all aspects. It's something I felt I wanted to be a part of. Throughout the program and staff, it is a brotherhood and a family. They really care about you here. When looking at Arizona now and being a part of the team, Lemonious Craig sees a program that has changed its trajectory within the last few years. I had the opportunity to play against Arizona, and from when I played them 3 years ago in 2020 to now, it is a consistent elevation, he said. I think the coaching staff is doing a great job. There is a difference with the players. There's a lot more talent out here. There was somewhat of a learning curve for Lemonious Craig, but he has adjusted relatively quickly. As soon as I got here, Jaden and I hit it off, he said. He's a great dude. He works hard and he's a great player. We get extra work and he's a great guy to hang around and be with, and he's a smart quarterback. The offense is real NFL style. It is very complex, but as we continue to learn the offense, those guys are coming back with a year already, so they have a great feel for it. I'm getting acclimated to it, but the NFL style offense is great to be involved with. Being in college a great amount of time, it's easier for me to pick up an offense because I have learned different offenses from being at Colorado with the different coaching changes. He's got a couple of statements in here that I would say are eyebrow raisers. So Lemonious Craig is beloved by the base. People here, people around the Buffs love Lemonious Craig. He is a very confident young man. We wish that he would have stuck around and played for us and give us that great receiving ability that he has. He didn't. He moved on. We're not necessarily harboring any hard feelings for MLC. I just wanted to put that out there so people know, because he is friends with Shador. Even while he was in the transfer portal looking for a better opportunity, they were still friends. You know, Shador did a live, maybe a couple of lives where Lemonious Craig was there and they were kind of kicking it as friends. So I'm sure there's no love lost there between the players. They're probably going to communicate during the season. They're going to be like, yo, how was that touchdown? You know what I'm saying? Just like friends do. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the things that he said that I would say are eyebrow raising. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is this point where he says, me and Coach Prime hit it off on a great foot. And I just felt like it was time for me to move on and experience something new somewhere else. Like, that's a little misleading and a little confusing, because it's like when you hit it off with someone, you don't just jump up and leave. You meet a new girl, you'll hit it off, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, shorty, I'm gonna go try to experience something else with somebody else. It's a little weird. But then again, being at Colorado with the different coaching changes, maybe he was ready to leave and go experience something else. Maybe he was saying, even though me and Coach Prime, we hit it off, I was already thinking I'm out of here because I'm tired of the coaching changes. It sounds as if he was already on his way out because he wanted to experience something new. No matter whatever happened between him and Coach Prime and Shador and the other new guys that came in, it didn't matter to him because he was already on his way out. The way that this feels and sounds, it's possible that that's what he meant. Obviously, I don't want to put words in the man's mouth. It kind of feels weird, because how do you meet somebody, you hit it off, but you're just going to move on and experience something else? It was sad to see him go. We could have definitely used his confidence. Some of the things that he said about Arizona, the coaching staff, and it being like family, this is something that I said before when the exodus happened and I was making the videos about where the kids landed and where they were going. It's something you have to say, okay? This is business. You have to find nice things to say. You're trying to find complimentary things to say about your new program. That transfer portal is always open. Things are always going to happen. So you also don't want to throw your old team under the bus, because people are paying attention. There are relationships always across the board, because you don't know who knows who at which program. My brother, my cousins, somebody could know the coaching staff over there, or somebody could know a player, and things can go really bad for you if you don't stay neutral. You know what I'm saying? You don't say the right thing. Baked in here is several things that you should say about your new program and things you should try to stay out of about your old program. It's a thin line, and you have to make sure that you thread that line very carefully about both teams. Throughout the program and staff, it is a brotherhood and a family. A couple of students who left have said that about their new program. That is expected. It's obvious thing that you should definitely say. You're definitely going to hear from a lot of players. They really care about you here. This is an eyebrow raiser. They really care about you here. This is a statement that I have two perspectives on. The first thing that will come out is, what do you mean? You're coming from Colorado. Did you not feel like family at Colorado? Did you not feel like they cared about you at Colorado? You kind of expect this type of statement. When you go somewhere new, they're going to roll out the red carpet for you, especially if you are an elite player, and they're going to make you feel like family. The time frame that he's been there, it's a little hard to go too deep into this statement right here. If you want to read a little bit more into it, you obviously can, because if you are a Coach Prime constituent who loves Colorado, who is rooting for Coach Prime, or you are just a Colorado Buff fan, you can feel some kind of way like saying, well, we care about our people here. We know that Colorado cares about the players that are here. Saying they really care about you here could be a shot at Colorado that they don't really care about you. It's all about winning and nobody cares about the kids. The double D's and the triple D's are definitely going to have fun with this one. This one is straight out of the playbook of the double D's and the triple D's. They're going to harp all over this one. See, I told you Coach Prime don't care about those kids. He only cares about himself. See, the kids are saying to themselves that he don't care about nobody. He only cares about winning. That's playing into the hands of the detractors. You got to keep in mind also that there are kids that feel right at home. They feel like it's a family. Other kids that stay, you hear some of the other players and the other kids that feel like it's a family in Colorado. They're bonding. Some people will see this as a shot. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. We know that Coach Prime really cares about these kids. If you are a Coach Prime loyalist, like a lot of the BWBs are, definitely the definition of a BWB, a bandwagon buff, we are Coach Prime constituents. That's why we're here. That's how we created the whole name BWB, because Coach Prime is here, and that's why we're here. So we know Coach Prime. If you know Coach Prime, you know that he really cares about these kids. Coach Prime took his own money at Jackson State to make certain things happen at Jackson State. The kids were not having the correct meals. He's making phone calls to presidents at different food companies to make sure that they get the right meals for these kids. When the water crisis happened, Coach Prime took these kids off of campus, got them into hotels, and made sure that they were good. I mean, you can go forever when it comes to the character and the man who is Coach Prime. You think about it and how much he cares about these kids is almost indicative of the reason why he left in the first place. Because when you want to make change, when you're the type of person who really like these kids and you really want to make change and you really care about the well-being of these student athletes, I know I'm going to get a lot of kickbacks from people who don't really like Coach Prime, but it's hard to stay in a place where the people that you have to work with, the people who are in your way, it's really hard to make the type of changes that you really want to make when the people don't feel the same way. When the people who are at the top, who are responsible for administration and other things, you feel like those people don't share your interests and they don't share the same mindset. If you feel that way, you feel like you're stuck, then you will make a move like Coach Prime. And Coach Prime's like, okay, you know what? I'm out of here. If you don't agree that Coach Prime really cares about these kids, you wouldn't care about him taking the kids off campus, putting them into hotels when they had that water crisis in Jackson, Mississippi, putting them into hotels and making sure that they had showers, they had good water to drink and all of those things. You will overlook those things. You will overlook the fact that he took money out of his own pocket to make sure that the locker room was better. He did so much for that university with his own money and then calling people over. It's not his job to do that. I know in our community, we feel like we have to do everything ourselves, but I guarantee you at Colorado, Coach Prime is not taking money out of his pocket to do X, Y, and Z for those kids. The university is supposed to take care of that. The school is responsible for all of the things that Coach Prime did out of his own pocket. Then somebody had to cut the grass themselves. Then they have to pick up trash. All of those things should be taken care of by the janitorial system, by the campus lawn crew. You shouldn't have to do those things. But because you care, because you are in it for the right reason, you're going to do it. And that's what we do in our community. We take care of ourselves. And Coach Prime is that kind of guy. So when you hear a statement like this, people really care about you here, a lot of the BWBs are going to feel some kind of way because we know the guy. We understand his character. We know the type of efforts that he made at Jackson State with the Pee Wee leagues, with the high school leagues, and bringing in Under Armour, changing deals and making sure that the kids get deals and stuff like that, making sure that the kids are taken care of in a certain way, and just bringing partners, business partners in to make sure that certain kids get certain things that they need. When you know all of that and you know the character, then it's hard for you to swallow a pill like this where suggesting or saying that they didn't care about you or Coach Prime didn't care about you. That's where that pushback is going to come from. Now, with all of that being said, there's an opposite perspective, or there's another perspective that I want to share with. I'm going to get some pushback on, and I understand if I get some pushback. You already know that I'm a Coach Prime fan. I'm a BWB, but I want to offer this other perspective just because I feel like it could be a reason for this comment. Now, this is the perspective. We all know that Coach Prime is here to win. Coach Prime is now at a Power 5, and this is his first opportunity to be at a Power 5 school, FBS, Football Bowl Subdivision. He's coming from Jackson State, which is FCS, Football Championship Subdivision. FCS football, it is Division 1, but it's one step lower than FBS. When you are on FBS, this is where you get to go to the national championship. The stakes are much higher here. If he does well here, if Coach Prime dominates here like he's dominated in the FCS, this is going to mean a lot more. This one carries a lot more weight because this is the big boys. This is what you would call the big leagues, okay? I don't want anybody to misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not putting down the FCS or Jackson State or anything like that because I know that sometimes people hear what they want to hear. So what I'm saying is this is considered the big leagues. So what does that mean? The big leagues, if he proves himself here, if Coach Prime wins here, this is where the national media is, and everything is now blowing up, as you can already tell, okay, for everything that has transpired. Coach Prime wins here, it's a bigger deal for coaches his color. He said that himself. I want everybody to understand, for black coaches, this is a big deal if Coach Prime wins here. Those are his words. Please understand, those are his words. It's going to open the door for other coaches just like him. More opportunities are going to be provided. So Coach Prime is putting that pressure on himself. He's already said that. I got to keep saying that because I know some people, when they hear these things, they're like, oh, Coach Prime didn't say that. Coach Prime ain't thinking about that. Like, they speak for Coach Prime. He would never think that. He is on record for saying these things himself, and he's carrying that load on himself. However he feels about the load, or whether it's load or not, how somebody else feels, is something that he is taking on himself. He's shouldering those responsibilities. All right. So now I say that to say that when you are in that position and you're given a short period of time, you don't have time to babysit kids. You don't have time to cuddle kids. And there's not going to be no powwow here. There's not going to be no kumbayas right now because I'm in business mode. From that Celebration Bowl, I have to hit the pavement, get on the plane, start recruiting. Probably while I'm on the plane, start recruiting because I have a short period of time. Right now, I believe we only have 15 more days until the season opener. All right. So Coach Prime had to hit the pavement right away and get moving. He brought people in here who were already used to his style, used to his mindset, his hard-nosed coaching style, and most of the students who already knew him. He was already surrounded with those type of people. It takes some time to get to know and fit in with this style of leadership. You should understand that. This takes time. This is not something that grows overnight. When you come into the presence of Coach Prime, whether you are a student player or whether you are a worker, whether you're doing a YouTube channel, Darius Sanders, who is not his real son, or anybody else that comes around Coach Prime, he's a no-nonsense type of guy. It's not easy to gain the trust and the personal relationship that he has with several people. That's not easy to do because he has such a high standard. He lives on such a high standard, and those around him are tested. Those around him are held at a high level of accountability. So it's not something that you're just going to come up in here and then all of a sudden you think it's just going to be all fine and dandy. All of that I'm saying because that's where some of this could have come from. Some of the things that he said, some of the things that he had to do. He knew that he had to come in here and clean house. This is a new coach. He has to clean house, and he's going to look into your eye and he's going to tell you whether you're good or whether you're not good. You can learn that now or you can learn it later. It happens in every sport. When the cut sheet goes up, somebody can tell you, look, you're not making the cut. Look out for yourself. Jump in that transfer portal. Give yourself time to find a good home or a good fit. Do you want somebody to tell you that, or do you want to find out at a late time? I know we're living in a time where everybody needs to be cuddled and everybody needs a safe space. You should appreciate somebody who tells you, hey man, you're not cutting it. You might want to jump into that transfer portal. Give yourself some time to be able to find a good fit, because college football season is very short season. I made a video about the whole schedule of how college football goes. Go on my channel and you can watch that. The windows where you have time to train for camp, train for this camp and that camp, getting your body ready. I made that video. That's a really good video. Go watch it. All right. So the window is short. So if Coach Prime tells you, instructs his staff and say, listen, man, whoever's not cutting it, let's make sure we give these guys some time to go ahead and jump into that transfer portal right away. Let's not pamper them. Let's not waste their time. If that's what transpired, you can see where it feels like they don't care for you here. The business had to be done right away. There was no time for cuddling. There was no time for kumbayas. If you're feeling some kind of way, if you and your girl broke up or this was happening to you and somebody needed to have a conversation with you, this was not the time. We got work to do. And we only have a short period of time to do that work. So I see where some of these kids could have felt like that. And that environment is not the type of environment where you feel like your feelings, your personal feelings, whatever you could have been going through, you would have felt like this is family. People really care about you here. It was there, but that was being developed. Trust me, if you're not the type of person who can kind of see through all of that, you understand when people are about business. If somebody gives you a quick answer or they don't take their time to explain that because things are moving kind of fast, I would speak to the fact that that would not be a cozy environment at the time because of what had to transpire in a short period of time. So I see that part of the argument. I'm neutral enough. I'm a human being enough to be able to say, okay, I see what they're saying, where students are coming in, students are going, the old school is out, the new school is coming in. A lot of hard things had to be done. The hard decisions had to be done. Coach Prime is the type of guy who will make those hard decisions within a blink of an eye because that's just how he operates. If you're not used to that kind of feeling, if you're not used to that kind of business and business being handled in that way, then I can see where this statement can come from. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. Like I said, in my first perspective, we already know who Coach Prime is. A couple of videos have been made where some of the students said, listen, if you can get over the yelling, if you can get over the in your face telling you the truth, if you can get over all of the harsh talking, you will understand the man, you will understand the character, and you will understand he's about business, he's about winning, and you can get a lot from this guy. You can learn a lot from this guy in the way that he leads. Hard truth, if somebody comes on my channel and they tell me, Harry B, look, man, you're too long-winded, I can be mad and I can jump back at the person and tell them something about themselves, or I can say, okay, you know what? Let me try to get better. Let me try to make my statements a lot shorter. There's so many different ways to look at things. And the fact that their program didn't have to do an overhaul. Arizona does not have a new coach that had to come in and weed out the bad ones and bring in some good ones. They've already, like he said, they had a year. They've already been together. So things are much calmer there. When you have the opportunity where you have to only replace one or two guys, that's a different feeling. You already have a family there. So that family environment is going to be felt. It's much calmer. You already know who these guys are. You've played with them for a year. I guarantee you next year, it's going to be different around there. The environment is going to be different. When guys come in, they're going to feel that camaraderie. They're going to feel that they already been through something. You got to go through something with some of those guys to understand. The fact that they had a program that did not have to do an overhaul, they're bringing guys back, that's a perspective to take in when you think about this statement right here that he made. I understand it from both sides. There is a difference with the players. There's a lot more talent out here. This one could be taken a couple of ways as well, because you can look at it from the window of they've had a losing season for several seasons. Lemonious Craig was there for the coaching changes. The talent was not conducive of a winning program. I can't say that he's speaking about the talent that Coach Prime brought in because he's been a part of the losing season. He was on the team when they lost and when they went 1-11. So I don't know if he's talking talking about the previous talent or he's talking about the talent that he left from that spring game. This is not a shot at Coach Prime. This is more of a shot at the university. If the university doesn't have the resources to be able to bring in the players because they've been losing for so long, then it is what it is. I don't know how great Arizona has been over the years. Like I told you guys when I started reporting on this channel, I hadn't been following college football. So I don't know how good Arizona has been over the years. But the way that things work, if a program is a winning program, kids want to be a part of that program. Everybody wants to be a part of something that's winning. That's why we're all here. Coach Prime is a winning coach. So we're all here. We're all following him. He's a winner. The program is not a winning program. It's going to be very hard for them to recruit. It's going to be very hard for them to get the right talent in here. So if Arizona had better seasons than Colorado over the years, then obviously they would have more talent. The talent that he sees out there would be a lot more than what he's used to seeing at Colorado. So that makes sense. If anybody was thinking that that's a shot against Coach Prime and the players that he left out there, I don't think that's a shot against that. If he was thinking that and he wanted to throw a shot on that, that's fine. It had to be because of the previous losing seasons that he had at Colorado. That's what I'm going to be taking from that. The whole idea of an NFL style offense, I mean, that stuff don't matter. Everybody got an NFL style offense, okay? I mean, this is Power 5 football. This is FBS football. Everybody's got something NFL to do with it, okay? To me, it doesn't matter. Whether it's an NFL offense or not, it doesn't matter. What matters is you having the talent to execute the offense that you have. If you have the talent to execute the offense that you have, then you will be successful. But if you don't have the talent to execute whatever offense you have, it doesn't matter whether it's the NFL or is high school. It doesn't matter. Talent is what matters at the end of the day. Coach Prime has Terrell Owens, or however if you want to say Terrell Owens or Terrell Owens. Coach Prime got NFL guys coming in. NFL guys coming to help out, to give advice and do all of those things. I would say Coach Prime would say his offense is NFL style as well. We have a former New York Giant coach, Schumer, to help assist Coach Prime. So Coach Prime is helping him to get his feet wet, and then he's probably going to be taking somebody's job at some college and starts coaching again. I think it's just one of those things that people say. It could be a shot. I ain't gonna lie. It could be a shot. It could be one of those things where somebody's like, yo, they got a real NFL style over here. It's like one of those things we do when we're jousting or when we call joning. We're like, yo, oh, y'all think y'all got NFL over there? We got a real NFL offense over here. And that stuff you're doing over there, that's child's play. That's not even complex. I can learn that in my sleep. So it could be that if you want to take it that way. If it's FBS, man, Power 5 football, you got some form or some type of NFL scheme that is incorporated within your offense. So I would take this one with a grain of salt. It could have just been a light shot that he was trying to throw. You know, it is what it is. MLC is going to be in the NFL soon. We are going to be watching this guy in the NFL real soon. I believe this is his last year, and he's going to be doing this thing. We know that this is a nice guy. These are not shots against Coach Prime. I would say more shots against the university because he's been in a bad situation for a couple of years. I wish him well at Arizona. I really hope he balls out at Arizona. I'm definitely going to be watching him at Arizona. Like I'm going to be doing a lot of these players that left. I told you guys they're going to be connected forever with Coach Prime. Whatever they do is going to link right back to Coach Prime. Somebody's going to say former Coach Prime player. That's how the media works. This is always going to be connected, and I'm still going to be doing videos about the guys that left. If they do something great, if they do something terrible and it's in the news, I'm definitely going to bring it for you. But that's all I got for Lemonious Craig, MLC. All right, family, that is all the information that I have for this video. Hope you got a little something out of it, and if you did, please help this channel grow by smashing that subscribe button, but I'm gonna have to leave it right there. You know who I am. I'm Harry B, and that right there was the Liberian Perspective. That's TLP Sports Club. Brah.